Hello friends, welcome to this session of Rolls to Die For, where Magic the Gathering content creators go to ignite their spark in Dungeons & Dragons. So, last we left off, our group of adventurers found themselves working with the Unknown, a faction of the Prisoner's Hall led by Urang, a brutish orc. Nearly escaping another encounter with Captain Novu, everyone regroups in their new location, the Market District. Making new friends with a young girl named Bella, they quickly learn that their way to continue up the boat. The party splits to wait. One side of the party is waiting for Cypress, a tinkerer who might help them get what they want. And so that's with Cookie and Ray that are staying with Bella. And while this is happening, Evelyn, Galene, Aria, and the rest of the Unknown went to sleep at Barabbas' shop. Ray attunes to a ruby of fire setting. Bella fawns over Cookie's design. Evelyn receives news that their friend is safe aboard the Red Foam Riders. Galene runs into her sister, Anahita, and her boyfriend, Hollis. And Aria admits a secret to Evelyn and Galene. First off, we are going to join Cookie and Ray, who stay the night at Bella's hovel. So, starting off, you guys are kind of a little bit rousing or coming out of stasis in the morning time to a unfamiliar voice that permeates throughout the chamber. Bella, you let people into our home? Bella, groggy, kind of shakes her head a little bit and looks up. Oh, but they're really nice, and I thought you would like... Oh, you're back! And she jumps and runs over, and in the doorway stands a tall, dark-skinned human with silver-dreaded hair. Male in appearance, very toned, with lunar tattoos peeking out from underneath a tattered vest that he's wearing. But a lot like Bella, he is also not wearing any shoes. People who convince you to break the rules. Not anyone can just do that. Who are you two? Staring deeply at you, Ray.
Well, not much convincing was needed. More so got dragged along here.
What do you mean? Bella wouldn't just drag along anybody here.
Let's just say she was convincing. I'm Ray.
Nice to meet you, Ray. And you are very curious. And he sticks his hand out to you, Cookie.
Yeah, I'll reach out and shake his hand. It's nice to meet a fellow tinkerer.
Oh, interesting. So you're not only a Warforged, but you're also a tinkerer yourself. I think we can get along.
Hi.
Looking.
So it's,
sorry.
thanks for having us over the night there.
I wouldn't be thanking me yet. And he kind of like steps in a little bit further, and he's like, I need to know your guys' intentions. Why have you convinced Bella to let you guys in here?
Well, first off, she seemed to be interested in me and my Warforged body. Just, I guess, a professional interest. And we were just looking for a place to rest out the night and get a little information, because we're new here.
Interesting. And you? And he looks over to Ray.
Well, despite how loud she could be, this was the quiet place that I could manage to find to sleep.
I haven't seen you guys around. Are you from another level? He's kind of standing in a little bit of a guarded position with his back to the wall right beyond the doorway. Just trying to like measure you guys out, trying to gauge what this is.
I kind of look at Cookie to see if like maybe we should just be honest with what's going on here. Look, we mean no harm. We really are from another level, just as you managed to catch on. Really, we were just looking for a place for quiet and sleep.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check for me.
Oh no. 7.
His eyes quickly move from you over to Cookie to try to gauge what, how he could feel out what you're thinking.
They speak the truth, lad. They speak the truth. Look, you're a tinkerer, I'm a tinkerer at heart. Is there some professional courtesy that would sort of get you to trust me?
I don't know. What do you have in mind?
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. My battery on my camera just died. I'm gonna have to do a backup real quick.
Cookie needs to go into another stasis for the for the morning.
Oh no, the face it froze on.
You know, that's a pretty good picture of Yogg, though.
He's got the smolder. He's got the
Yeah.
automaton smolder.
If that doesn't gain his trust, what wouldn't?
Right. Just a little technical difficulty. Something. All right. Luckily, I have backup cameras pretty readily available.
He looks over to Bella, and Bella is kind of like has her arms crossed and up in the bed, like, you never trust me or anything I do around here. I'm just trying to look after you, you know. And like she's like getting the courage to say something, but then she like kind of softens back into her stance on the bed. You know, he's really worried and kind of gauging this scenario, and you can see now, Ray, that he no longer is like completely relaxed up against the door, but he's holding what looks to be some kind of like box device like in his hands, like kind of to his side a little bit, just enough for you to be able to see it.
I don't know if I even want to know what's in that box. Look, if you want us out, we can get out. Meaning no harm, truly.
You know, I want to trust you guys. I'm honestly a very easygoing guy. And Bella kind of snarks under her breath, and it's like, quiet you. To reasonable people, that is. I want to believe you guys are reasonable, but I need some assurances, especially because you know our way around our little hovel we have here. I sense a little bit of reservation in this conversation, and I really, really would like to get down to the bottom of why you guys are here, especially before I let you guys leave.
Ray really doesn't want to give away too much information, so is like struggling with like what to give out. Look, in the same way that you have reservations, I have mine. I don't know who I can trust here. I don't know if I can trust you. Oh, we're at a little bit of a stalemate right now. I mean no harm. I truly don't. And I don't know how I can tell you that or show you that.
Well, let me give you a little bit of information about myself first, and maybe that'll put you at ease to talk to me further. You know, I'm not from the best places, and a lot of people assume a lot of things from me. However, I've made a really, really good name for myself here, and I'd rather not work with people who are going to put me back into those bad places. So, you know, if that tells you anything, and you do have a good background, I'll be able to sense that on you, and I would appreciate you being forthcoming with a little bit of information about yourself, other than your name, Ray.
There's not much information to tell aside from I don't know why I'm here, I don't know where I'm at, and that is exactly what I'm just trying to figure out. So I really have no name or reputation to give you.
Go ahead and make... yeah, go ahead and make a deception check.
Ooh. It's 18 with 2, so dirty 20.
Interesting. You found yourself in a place you're unsure of and have no real exact path to cross. Are you looking for work, or are you looking for, I don't know, stuff?
Yeah, I'm more so looking to understand, and maybe the right person to show me the way for that.
Interesting. Well, I have had a very, very long night, you two, and as much as I am very intrigued on the automaton in the room, no pun intended, I think I need to get a little bit of sleep before I invest into a little bit more conversations with you guys. So I appreciate meeting you guys. Unfortunately, I don't like it the fact that it's in my house, but you now have a face to a name, and I would appreciate you guys leaving so I can take a quick nap.
No problem. I understand you need your rest. We'll take our leave for now.
Completely understandable.
Is there anything that you need me to mull over while I have a nice nap before I let you guys go?
I know that you mentioned work, and just know that I'm interested.
Can you give me at least a spitball of maybe a skill or something?
Any skill that would be worthwhile in a place like this.
Now you're making
I'm
me
quick to
assume
learn.
again, and that doesn't feel good. All right.
Ray just shrugs.
Good night and good morning. And he like walks past you guys pretty slowly, like still kind of scanning you guys up and down, trying to gauge you for everything that you're worth on his way to the bed. Hey, Bella, just see them out for me, please. And we're going to have a nice little talk later. And Bella's like, hey, it's no problem by me. They've been nice to me to this point, so I don't know what you see, but that's, I'll get right on it, boss. She kind of snickers under her own breath. She's like, all right, guys, let's get on out of here, please, And she, goes to grab your hand, Cookie, and tries to lead you out the door.
I'll take her hand and follow her out.
All right.
I will follow as well.
We're going to zoom over to our happy trio over in Barabbas' shop, where it is already starting to get a little bit hustle and bustle outside, where you guys can hear the marketplace start to spin up, some early hair of the dog. People are celebrating and drinking and getting ready for the day. You guys stir awake to some movement in the main room of, you presume, people getting up for the day or getting ready. What would you guys like to do?
Evelyn's gonna, she's got like these ribbons on her ears. She's gonna unwrap them and then kind of like roll her neck. And as she does, her hair changes from blue to blonde. It kind of shortens. Her ears go from pointy to curved as she takes on a more human appearance. One of her eyes changes color to brown. The other one stays the same. And then just like kind of without missing a beat goes into tying up her hair right away.
I'm just staring.
How do I look? Boring enough?
Really good.
I'm going for boring. I figured if someone comes looking for someone with blue hair, you don't want to be the person with blue hair,
I look down at my hair that's like a silvery blue.
It looks great on you. I'm just...
Oh, okay.
No offense, I just wanted to make it a little harder to be found.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm as happy as I am to be out of the prison. I'm feeling really down that we're not in the water.
Yeah, I'd like to be out of this whole boat in general, but I mean...
I felt like I got my hopes up, like we were so close. And
makes you wonder how many more layers there are to go.
Yeah, how much further until we actually are at the top level and can get off?
do you think that they're gonna come up here to look for us? Should we
They do,
all
it's gonna be a little
decide
harder
for
to find me.
ourselves? Well, yeah, that's true. Should we be worried about that? Like, I guess Captain Novu knows who we are, but
It probably wouldn't hurt to blend in a little bit. I mean, Aria and I are probably fine. Humans are boring, no offense. But humans are kind of boring, so they're not going to be looking really at us. But, I mean, your beauty tends to captivate. So,
yeah,
it could be a
wow.
issue.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess there's me and my sister, but I don't know if that's better that they would find her. I guess I'll have to think about it. But I guess do we need jobs?
You
So
guys
it'd probably be
hear,
nice to have money.
you guys hear on your bedroom door that just hey, I heard you guys talking in there, and we're packing up stuff in here if you want to join us. It's Urang. You guys can hear from the other side of the door.
Yeah, we'll be out in a couple minutes, Urang.
Oh, okay.
We'll be out.
You hear him step away.
Just like powder my nose, brush my hair, add some little pearl pins and clips. Okay, I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. I think I'm good to go.
Okay.
All right, you guys push out into the main room of Barabbas' shop. There you can see Barabbas already kind of adjusting some things on some shelves, and you see Kinley, you see Galtia, you see Urang, and Purnima all kind of setting up, like picking up all of their like bedrolls and different things like that, and carrying over their stuff over to like a closet that Barabbas has open with just other similar supplies in it. And Barabbas looks up to you guys and goes, "Oh, how'd you guys sleep? Was it good?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was comfortable.
I'm glad you guys had a good first night out of that, whatever that place was, the prison cells or whatever. Hope this was a little bit more comforting than whatever they had down there for you.
Someone stole my mattress in the middle of the night, so infinitely better.
I'm still confused. Why did they take your mattress?
I don't know.
You hear like Galtia like chuckle in the background. He's like, that's the golden seal. Remember, guys? Like they're like pretenders to enforce rules, and they like get mad at people for doing things outside of the status quo. Usually I'm the rebound or the person who protects people from that kind of stuff, but we weren't fully working with each other then, so that's why I didn't intervene. My cell door never locked.
Great.
I don't know why, but it never locked, so I could always get out.
Oh.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the help.
I'm sorry. He like
Well, it's the thought.
stumbles away.
It's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts.
He goes back to eating some pocket jerky that he had.
Pocket jerky.
So, Barabbas, you said your shop's been doing really well.
Yeah. Well, with enough trade, it depends on how much supplies I get in to really flip and move it to the places that I know need it most. That's kind of my specialty, is just having a decent amount of, artist's eye for who needs what and how much they're willing to pay. About this time, Ray and Cookie, you guys have made your way, I presume, back to Barabbas's?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of lean over to Galene and be like, none of us stand out as much as Cookie does, so I think we'll be fine.
It's true.
a
I do
good
stand
point.
out a bit.
That's
Barabbas,
a good point.
do you have any sort of cloak or anything I could wear that would I could throw over myself to make myself look less inconspicuous here?
Oh, yeah,
Ray's just kind of
no problem.
self-consciously touching their horns in the back.
No problem. I'll get right on that. And he like walks to the back room and he's like, "Hey, are you guys wanting breakfast or anything like that? I could use a hand in the kitchen. I don't really have a whole lot of cooking skills, so I would need someone to be able to help me, if that's okay."
Finally, my time to shine.
All right,
get
it
him,
sounds
Cookie.
like you've got the job. And he leads you to the back room, Cookie. Kitchen's pretty
Cookie
nice. It's not as fancy as what you're used to. I mean, you have pretty limited supplies here. It looks like mainly scrapped together utensils and stuff like that. But he has a decent amount of like food that if you'd like to prepare some kind of breakfast, you can come up with something.
Oh yeah. So Cookie will hit the stove, start chopping up whatever we got here. Maybe a little egg action or a little, some sort of traditional breakfast food. Try to stretch it out for the large number of people we have with us now.
Nice. Would you like to use your knife?
Sure.
Go ahead and roll a d4 for me.
Okay. We got a 4.
A 4, so all right. That's the 4 plus 2, so that would be a 6. If you want to describe how your food now looks for your party that you serve.
So seemingly taking nothing and turning it into something, the little barren scraps that Barabbas had lying around now resemble the most beautiful breakfast you could imagine.
Yeah, and it does. It looks very, very nice for you guys. And as you guys all eat breakfast, you may add 6 temporary hit points to your character sheets.
Let's go.
Nice.
Oh, right, I don't eat.
You do too, Cookie. For using the knife, you do. You get it. And as
Only
you,
buffs his friends.
you do notice that you might not be eating any food, Cookie, but you are starting to heat up with that strange, like, aching feeling again. And So over at breakfast, you guys are just kind of like taking a second in to realize kind of like where you are and kind of getting reacquainted with everyone. And Kinley is like, all right, guys, so I did a little bit of, recon last night. I kind of looked around and stuff and met a couple people. I sold a couple things, and so I have a little bit of gold. If there's anything pertinent, I can maybe try to help you guys buy some stuff. I found one really cool establishment that I highly recommend. They seem to have most of the strange items and items that would probably get people in and out of situations. Feels very not typical that you would see in like a small town village kind of item. So I'm looking to pick up any jobs from them, or go back there again today if you guys are interested.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. What's the place called?
It's called T's Cove. T is in the letter T. T's Cove.
T's Cove.
I think the
could be a
owner's-
good place
The
to
owner's
start
name is
looking for
Tamlin.
a
Yeah, Tamlin is his name.
good place to
Okay.
start looking for one of those passes we need to get to the upper levels.
They did
Yeah,
have a lot of
wouldn't-
interesting things.
Wouldn't hurt to make a connection there and maybe get a hold of some of those items if they look useful.
I'm not sure if we should broadcast our desire to go up, or like, I don't know how to say this. We were talking, and I feel like maybe not drawing attention to ourselves or our true intention is maybe important until we are confident we can. Like,
And we could always go there with the premise of we just need jobs, we're capable workers, and just kind of lie low and build that connection, and don't have to let them know that we want to ascend.
yeah, or like forge or steal paper. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like if they didn't have them, then there's more people who know we don't belong, or
Yeah.
know what we want, or could tell somebody. I don't know, but I do like the idea of making the connection.
Yeah. Can I ask Kinley if there were any other places that stood out? Because that they might not be hiring new people or hiring too many new people. So it wouldn't hurt to like maybe branch out and find some other places that might be looking for some workers, and if anything else looks interesting to us too.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. It was pretty late last night when I was kind of skulking around, so not a whole lot of shops were open. But the majority of the people I found in the area seemed very like, 9 to 5, small towny kind of jobs. Like, the only other thing that kind of caught my eye was there was a weird type of like barber shop that had like a bunch of like knives for fingers, and that's what he used to cut people's hair. It was interesting to me like how he was doing it so late at night, and he had like one of his like pinky fingers was like very calmly shaving somebody's face while the top was trimming still. It was very entertaining, but other than that, nothing else really stood out to me.
Yeah, I could see why that would stand out a little.
You're telling me this man had scissors for hands?
I don't think it was his real hands, and he was definitely not an automaton by any means, but he
Did you catch his name by chance?
No, I just, walked right on by. We could go scope
Wasn't
this
Edward?
sight to be seen if you'd like, but
I don't think I want that many blades near my face.
How did your meeting go?
Meeting.
Well, didn't you guys stay back at Bella's to see if you could meet her brother?
We talked with him a little bit, and he was not
it
the
seem
friendliest
promising?
of sort.
Oh.
No, he's rather suspicious, and I guess rightfully so. It's a little hard to go ahead and give a heartfelt story when I can't tell whether I should let people know whether we're from down below or trying to go up. It's a little bit of a precarious situation we're in.
You can't really blame him for being suspicious. We are a interesting group.
Speaking of interesting, Evelyn, is this a normal thing for you? Just pointing at your different hair.
I've never been blonde before, but
Looks good.
usually not human either, but desperate times.
Ooh.
Urang kind of chimes in. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Purnima, and you look over and you see Purnima back in his tiefling form. He's like, I think I'm gonna take Purnima, and we're gonna go try to find that connection that Silas was talking about. So if you guys hear about any type of Cypress, we're gonna be walking around trying to find
Wait.
him. And
Cypress.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, we're I think Silas knew a little bit of him and knew a little bit of dealings with him, but we're gonna walk around and try to find him. He apparently sticks out like a sore thumb, so we'll let you guys know if we see anything. They exit. It's just you guys. Emerald. Kinley's like, I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna go ahead and sleep. I stayed up all night, and she goes into that back room that you three were in. So
Right.
it would just be you. It would be you five and Emerald in the room now, and Barabbas is getting things ready for the day.
What was Bella's brother's name?
Yeah, I didn't ask.
I feel like she told us though. Isn't it Cypress?
Yeah, can I
Isn't it
whisper to
Cypress?
Galene and be like,
Yeah.
I think Cypress is Bella's brother.
I think so too.
Should we
Should
go
we-
tell him that that's who they're...
Well, I didn't want to say it. I sort of forgot the name, so I wanted to make sure I was right before I just blurted it out. But should we go tell them? You guys met him yesterday, and
Yeah,
you made his
didn't-
acquaintance. Wouldn't that be
He didn't seem too happy about us being in his house, though. So
But didn't you
maybe-
tell him that we were looking for him?
No, it didn't cross my mind.
Oh.
And
Well,
at this
did you-
point, it'd be a little weird to come back with our gang of merry
I feel like we need.
beaters.
I don't know. I mean,
Ray's trying their hardest not to look embarrassed.
is it weirder to then just send them without the information that we know? I feel like we should go.
Yeah, we should
after
probably
them.
go with them.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah, Emerald
I
looks
know,
at
I
you
know.
guys, and she's like, I can message over in the direction
Oh,
that he's
can you
walking and
me-
just let him know.
Let him know that we think we know. Maybe I should go too. Here, Ray, you did.
Would it be better to send Cookie or Ray or one of them that's already met Cypress?
Well, if you guys made a good impression,
I
it
think he
totally
wants all
makes
the-
sense for you to go.
It was an impression.
Wow.
But yes, I'll go.
Message Urang that we're gonna meet. Some of us are gonna meet up with him
Okay, and she
because
relays
we
that
know
to
because
Urang.
we know him. Because we know Cyrus. Make sure you say that part.
Do you want Urang to come back?
Cyprus.
Are you sending Urang to Cyprus? I'm not exactly sure what you want.
Oh, because they're just
Did-
wandering.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
We
should go.
Yeah,
At
we'll
least
go.
a few of us.
You,
I mean,
Yeah,
some people might want
You
to check out
two-
Tees Cove.
you
So,
two do
can I ask,
remember. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, can I ask, you said you made an impression, how bad was it?
It wasn't the worst. It just wasn't the best. I don't have very many social skills, okay?
He seemed a little sleepy and was just confused why we were there. So, if anything, he was just trying to get us out of his shop. It seemed like.
That's fair. Do we maybe want to have Cookie and Galene go? Galene's great at smoothing over relations with people that might not be the fuzziest.
Sure.
Sometimes. I'm also happy to let you go.
I mean,
I'll try.
I could go. I
I'll
could.
try, but I got this. You can check out Tees Cove. Let's go, Cookie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give Galene an inspirational whistle and give her an inspiration as she goes.
Kinley does step out, and she's like, I don't know which one of you guys want this, but here's our pool of money for now. It's just 50 gold. It might help you guys get things started. Don't ask how I got it. And she hands it to anybody who takes it.
I will
Ray
take it.
snatches it.
Oh, Ray already took it.
Okay,
Wait, are
Ray.
you coming too?
Yeah, might as well make amends for whatever I said.
Yeah, you can go write down 50 gold. And then What would you guys like to
Galene
do?
has one bardic inspiration now for
All
if she
right.
needs it.
I will. So, we'd like to. So scanning. Do we see Urang pretty closely, like waiting for us to meet up with him?
Yeah, it looks like Bella already stopped Urang like a couple steps out of the door and is just chatting him up.
Perfect. I go over there too.
So that's when I always go to the market to try to find if the fresh potatoes are in, but the fresh potatoes don't typically come in until like the end of the week. But, you know, I always still check because you never know when you can get those early hash browns. Oh, hey, friends! And she looks up at you guys.
Hi! How'd you sleep?
It was pretty good, you know. I felt like a whole new person after meeting you guys yesterday.
It's nice to meet you too.
Well, I was
Now-
just talking to some of your other friends we bumped into yesterday too. They're really nice people, and you see Urang with his like face like just
Oh,
keep going.
he's so nice. Right, Urang?
Yes, yeah. I'm just trying to find somebody. Just give me a second, please. And like,
So Urang, the second you walked out the door,
yeah.
literally like the second, we connected the fact that the person you're looking for is Bella's brother.
And he looks over at Bella. She's like, "Oh yeah, I could have led with that. Yeah, I do know a dark, handsome man. Yeah, that's my brother."
I like thought I remembered his name, but honestly, I was just so enamored with you, Bella. I sort of forgot. I had to confirm with the rest of the group that was his name because I didn't want to send Urang on a wild goose chase, right, Cookie? Like we just had to make sure.
Aye.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate that nonetheless. Is there any way we could see your brother anytime soon? And Bella's like, I mean, it's kind of his sleeping time, and I really don't like to wake him because he works really, really hard for all the stuff we got. But I mean, we can if you want to.
Well, Bella, maybe we need to make a good impression. What's his favorite food? Maybe we could try to like give him something when he wakes up. Like you were talking about hash browns. I know there's not fresh potatoes, but like,
I mean, I really like the hash browns, but
Cookie is a phenomenal chef.
oh, okay. Do you know how to make oatmeal?
I can make an oatmeal.
I think I see my brother eat oatmeal and he eats bread and cheese. That's all I ever see him
Wait.
eat.
Okay, but like,
Me too.
I mean, I guess I like bread and cheese also.
He also drinks water.
Water.
That's the things I always see him do. So that's all I know. He's a simple man. I don't see how he does it.
Well,
I think we
Cookie,
can make it work, yeah, with the
Okay.
oatmeal.
Bella, what time does he normally get up?
Well, he usually only sleeps like a couple hours a day, so he should be up in a couple hours.
Perfect.
Well, Urang, what do you think? Do you think it makes sense to try to connect when he wakes up?
I mean, that'll make my life a lot easier just trying to look for him, you know, so whatever you guys can tell me, I'll be there. It'll opens up my day, so I have a lot more free schedule now if you need anything from me. And Bella's like, well, I got some packages coming in from one of my workers down the way. If you want to help me move some of the big old boxes. And Urang's like, well, I'd put me in pretty good favor with you guys, so I would be happy to do that. And Prudima's like, it like flexes.
Great. Okay, so Bella, Urang, why don't we meet back up with you in a few hours? Cookie, can you bring food? I feel like food wins everybody over.
Right.
You don't really feel. I mean, I don't really know how you feel things, Cookie, but you can sense somebody like peeking their head like right next to your head from behind you and go. And if you decide to make any more of those oatmeal, I would really like a bowl too. Okay, thanks. And you like turn around and see Galtia like stepping away from you.
Of course.
While Evelyn and I are inside, can I ask them if do you want to go to that interesting ware shop, or do you want to go see the person with scissors for hands?
I mean, I feel like we should have gotten the money before going to the shop, but we can look at someone with scissors for hands for free.
That's true. Yeah, let's head there. Then we can
Okay.
see what we find on the way back.
Sure, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna follow you guys for a bit. So you guys are heading out into the town. It is already bustling. It seems interesting. There's a lot of foot traffic. in the area, and a lot of people who kind of seem to be on a mission, moving around the boat. And you kind of think to yourself, it's hard to place it. Like, if you just live in a place that's a market, how much marketing do you really need to do? And it kind of gives you this uneasy feeling of just like awkwardness to the air of like, what are these people actually doing? Go ahead and make a perception check for me as you make your way to this crazy shop that you guys heard of.
Got a 6.
Got a 7.
That's a 6.
Ooh, 6 and 7, huh?
We're just so
I rolled a
excited about the
7. I just have -1.
So excited about the scissors for hands that.
Yeah. The blinders are on. All I want is scissor hands.
As soon as we heard about the scissor hands, we're just like, yes, time to go.
All right, so you guys are making your way through town, and there's, you know, the rush of people going by you, and you hear some, like, criers yell out, like, early and poor, come get it now before it flies off the shelves, and things like that. And you make your way to what is very obviously a traditional style looking, like, barber shop. And you approach it from the front, and there's a large like mesh window up in the front. And if you peek through the mesh window, you can see a very, very young like teenage boy with just like these like larger than his like whole arm like knives dangling off of these gloves as he's like trying to pick up the gloves, and he's like very carefully like trying to cut somebody's hair with them, and then like all flop to the side. And you see another individual who's very, very tall. It's like almost like a dark elf with black pointed hair, and also has these kind of mechanical devices on his hands. Just putting his hands on the hips with the blades out to the sides, just like shaking his head at this little boy as this little boy's like trying to be careful. There's a little halfling in the seat that's gripping the seat's handles and is going like as these like blades are like slipping and like falling off to the side next to this guy's head.
What's this place called?
It looks to be just, it's called Sharp Corners.
Sharp Corners.
With the
This is
reception
great
check-
for free entertainment.
Yeah, I feel a little bad for that halfling because that honestly seems slightly dangerous. A little
I
more
hope
than
he's-
usual.
I hope he's getting the cut for free, at the very least.
Yeah, I just hope he's not actually getting cut for free.
Yeah.
You think they pay him if he gets cut?
I'd sure hope so.
Yeah,
It's hard to keep getting business if you keep cutting people and they go out. Unless you're the only barber in town, this is your only option is the scissor hands, then.
You know, I haven't seen any other barbers, so I wonder if that might be the case.
That would explain why someone would submit themselves to that.
True. I'm a little more curious about the guy that actually seems to know what he's doing. Like, I want to see him in action.
Yeah, do you think he is only at night? Like she said, or this is intern hours? Gotta come back later.
That would make sense. Trying to get some practice for the one in training, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be going too well.
About this time, you hear ah! from the inside of the shop.
Yeah, definitely not going too well.
People like waiting in line, or is this halfling the only guy in there?
Halfling's the only guy there.
Oh,
Do you think we should go in? I mean, I don't know what we would do.
trying to
But,
like break him out,
I
cause
mean,
a diversion, then he can escape.
we could. Does it look like he's trying to run?
No, he looks panicked, but he doesn't look like he's trying to run. You see the older individual like trying to take his blades and like move the intern's blades like the correct position, and lays the blade down and like waits, and then shakes his head and moves the blade again and then waits.
I wonder if they're
Like he's in-
hiring.
Looks like he's good in good hands, in good scissor hands. Do you think you could work one of those?
I'm not really sure, but I kind of want to try now.
Do you think Ray's mage hand could wear one of those?
Oh. Now that would look really cool. I think
That'd
that
be
would draw an
something-
even bigger crowd than this kid's doing.
Maybe we could become street performers. That's how we get our money. Though that probably doesn't work with the laying low
Yeah,
part.
that would be kind of counterintuitive to laying low.
Did you want to inquire if they're hiring? It's not really my area, so
Yeah.
I think I'll look elsewhere. But if you're into it, I'll back you up. I'll be a reference.
I think it could be fun, but I also can't really say if I'd be much better than the kid. And
You
it's
see
not.
the kid like kind of with one hand pick up like a lock of hair and goes to like cut it with this hand, and the hand like falls off and the blades like fall onto this guy's head and like fall off into his lap. And you hear the guy go, "Oh, okay, that's it. We're done for the day. And he gets up and like pushes the little glove off onto the ground and shakes his head and like, you know, fixes his hair a little bit and storms out.
You know, I don't necessarily think I want to learn how to cut hair. I think I just want a pair of those hand scissors.
I think so. I think I want the same thing.
Yeah, the boy goes running to the back crying.
Oh.
And the other scissored hand individual is like very awkwardly holding a broom and like sweeping up the hair that's on the floor, just unfazed from what just happened.
Wonder what it would take for us to get a pair of those. Like, do you think the kid would just give them to us now that he's prying?
It's a halfling, so we could just like pick him up, right? And then like take the gloves off.
That's
and,
someone
like...
getting its hair cut, right? Not.
Oh,
was
you're
the
right.
kid a halfling too?
No, it was
No,
two
you're right.
dark elves. It was a younger teenage looking dark elf and then the adult dark elf.
I can't pick him up.
I don't think I could pick him up either.
I can turn invisible.
Ooh,
How badly do we want these scissor hands?
I kind of really want them.
Oh,
I could go in
you guys are gonna
and
make me
see
do a
about
custom item
getting...
for D&D Beyond, aren't you?
Why would you tempt us with such things, huh? You did this.
Yeah, that's true.
I could go in posing to get my hair cut and then
Distract one of them.
Yeah.
I can
Well,
slip
the
around
one's
the
in the back already. So if these just stay on the floor, I just have to, be there long enough to get the haircut, and you could grab them, and we could both leave.
Are we trying to get both pairs of them?
Oh no, not just the one that the kid dropped.
Oh, he dropped them, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The attendee,
Forgot about
or
that.
the older male, is not really paying attention to the gloves that are inside it's like in the bucket of the seat at this point, of the barber seat, and he's just like sweeping all the hair away off to the corner.
All right, yeah, I'll go get my haircut, and you can grab those while you're invisible. I think this should work.
Are you sure you want to risk your hair like that?
Oh, trust me, this isn't what it normally looks like anyways.
All right.
All right.
Cast invisibility on myself.
Alrighty. You cast invisibility. Alright, what are you guys doing?
All right, I walk in, and I make sure as I walk in to hold the door open enough so that Evelyn can come in right behind me too.
Yeah, I'm following right behind to...
And,
The dark elf turns to you and says, "Oh, hello. We usually go by appointments only, but as you can see, well, hopefully didn't see, our last attendee kind of left a little early, so we've got some time on our hands." And he like pulls up the little knives and he's like trying to gauge your guys' reaction to him.
I suppress a laugh.
I am very excited to see this elf with the things on his hands and not the other one.
You say that out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. He's like, "Oh, yep. That is my nephew Danlin. Danlin, he'll get there one day. I swear. He's a little bit of a hopeless cause, but we'll get there one day. Well, are you looking for a haircut, Missy?"
Yes, I am, and I totally understand. These things take time. The finesse, it doesn't come in a day.
Okay.
Or
Well,
two.
since we usually do it by appointment and we have no one here, I'll give you the discounted rate. So it'll just be like a silver, or if you want to be a regular, then we can start a tab for you and we can have you pay like once a month. Either way, your choice.
Yeah, I do my hair very differently often, so I think a tab sounds like a good plan.
All right, sounds good to me. What name should I write down? He's like fumbling to like try to pick up the pen and write your name down.
You can call me Ari, A-R-I.
A-R-I. Ah, short, nice and simple name. Just how I like it. And he like puts the paper off to the side, whereas like he's trying to move it, but it's just like cutting into all the other papers that are on his desk and like off to the side. And he's like, all right, so just pick a seat and I'll get started right away, Ari. And he like,
All
he
right.
starts to walk to the back like he's preparing his blades and like getting other items.
I'll kind of like sneak along the back wall and try and get eyes on the other set of scissor fingers.
Scissor fingers. Go ahead and make a perception check and a stealth check for me, please.
Oh man, these are not things I'm good at.
You have advantage
Can
on
I-
stealth.
But I'm invisible.
Yep.
I'm going to give a nice happy whistle. Just,
Do you have to see the
And-
target?
No, they just have to be able to hear me.
Ah, perfect. Okay.
So a
Alright.
nice upbeat whistle to give Evelyn a D6 bardic inspiration.
I did decent on the perception, so I won't use it yet. That's a 14 on the perception.
Okay. Yeah, you can very clearly see just like right around the corner, and there's an open door that leads into a hallway, and down the hallway you see this little boy who is like sitting in a chair, has one of his the hand that's still gloved with the knives down, and is sitting in the chair. He has his hand on his face, and the other one you can just see him like quietly sobbing to himself like down the hall.
Do I see the other glove? Is it still in the chair?
The other glove would still be in the chair. As you like backed up against the wall, you could clearly see the other
Okay.
glove in the chair.
So he's in the back, right?
Mhm. And the older adult is also like kind of in the back. He's like up in a closet, like a walk-in closet, where he's like gathering some supplies, and he's taking his time, whistling to himself.
So I could just like Leroy Jenkins it and like grab it and run.
If you'd like, you can certainly try.
I'm gonna try and sneak up to it, get up to it first, and see if I can pick it up somewhat stealthily.
What was
And then if
your-
things go poorly, I'll just run. I haven't stealthed
Oh,
yet.
you haven't stealthed yet? Okay.
Ooh. Oh, I thought that was a 19. The numbers look similar. 15.
15.
Oh, but I'm advantage because I'm invisible.
Yeah.
15.
15. Okay.
But you inspiration too?
If you want, yeah.
Do I save it in case things go poorly? Or do I just...
15 seems good.
Yeah, 15 seems all decent.
Just to let you know, there was 3 entities that could have spot you, and it rolled a 4, a 3, and a 1. So,
Let's go!
you hear like in the corner where all that fur or all that hair had been swept up into. There's like a big mound of just like hair in the corner, and you hear it like shift a little bit, and you hear like inside of the like hair ball that's in the corner, and you see like a cat's head like peek out of the hair and like start to snooze. And then,
Oh.
yeah, you're seemingly undetected.
All right, am I kind of by Aria?
Yes, yeah, Aria's in the next chair over.
Should I just go? Should I just book it?
I'm just gonna nod.
Okay, I
Silently
grab, I grab it and I go.
Okay.
They're
You-
fine.
You grab a hold of these scissor gauntlets, and you see them disappear out of sight as soon as you touch them, and you're free to do whatever you want. You head out.
I go, yeah.
Yeah, you head out the door. The door was already partially cracked, so with that 15 stealth roll, you don't make a sound as you creep out of the store. Aria,
Alright.
Aria, did you stay in the store for a haircut?
I don't want to arouse suspicion, so I will stay
Okay.
and get my haircut
Okay.
by the expert.
Yes. Okay.
Ex-
I'll stick around
Expert.
and watch because I want to see this. And it's for an hour, so if it's a discounted time anyway, I'm sure I'm fine. Just stick around outside and watch.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so
Hiding it in my coat.
this individual comes back around with the supplies and lays it out on the table in front of him. He's like, all right, my name is Salve. I've been doing this for 34 years. Some would say that I'm quite the sight to be seen, and I think that's why you came here to check me out today. What could I be doing for you?
Well, I saw that you had these unique utensils, and I just wanted to get my hair done. I was thinking maybe I'll do kind of like a side cut, like, you know, I want to leave one side long, but maybe the other side real short, and I'll let you kind of fade it out.
Okay.
I think you've got a pretty close advantage to shave with that, so I'll let you do your thing.
Easy enough. And with advantage, natural 20 on the second roll on advantage. He just very, very smoothly and quickly gives you the exact nice little side buzz with a couple little like designs and the soft part of your hair as well. And he like pulls it back and like styles it as well without cutting it. He's able to maneuver your hair in the blades without cutting it, and gives you this wonderful little hairstyle. Very quickly, within like minutes.
I look at I'm sure there's a mirror in front of me, right?
Yes.
Look in the mirror. I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty good. I'm very impressed by your work. I'm glad I decided to open a tab because I could use some more of these feel-good looks.
All right. Well, that's good news for the both of us. I'm happy to provide. Anything else I could do for you this evening or this morning?
I think I'm good. It's been a great day.
It's just gonna get better. Thank you for stopping by. And he, like, you hear him like walk to the back, and he's like, "It's gonna be all right!" Like he's shouting down the hall.
All right, I'm gonna leave. And I'm like, I hope that kid didn't need the other glove. This is fine. And I meet up with Evelyn as we book it away.
I will drop the invisibility.
Yeah, Evelyn, you see Aria walking up with her new hairstyle, but you hear a semi-familiar voice creep into your head. You hear okay, Ren says lures are dangerous. I don't understand. It's time to go. That's all he said.
Tell him if he's got a way out, I'd love to hear it.
You do not get a response. All right, and then with that, we're gonna cut over to the other gang. So it is currently Ray, Galene, and Cookie. What are you guys up to as this is transpiring?
Well, it sounds like we got time to kill. But all of us are agreeing that we gotta lay pretty low at the same time. I don't know, really. What do we do?
We can go to the market, look for supplies for the best oatmeal.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, so my sister's in town. Apparently.
Really?
I'm as shocked as you are. But I guess when I got captured, she tried to come after me and ended up here.
Well, that's handy. She's been here this whole time.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she can let us know what it's like to be in this town.
Yeah, well, if we can look for ingredients and try to meet up with her.
Sure, that sounds good.
That's a great idea.
We stop by her place first and then head out onto the market.
Sure. So, I will attempt to take us to, like, the hotel that she described to me.
Yeah, when your brief interaction with her, she mentioned that it was a couple blocks down, and retracing your steps, you can kind of find this old, shabby hotel called Two Boards and a Crack. And
Love that.
And it looks pretty shabby. The individual who's up at the front is like, all we got is rooms. It's a little like gnomish figure with a red knit cap that's like halfway down his face, like partially covering his eyes. He's like staring at you, Galene. He's like, all we got is rooms. That's all we got. Just rooms.
Any people here?
There's people in rooms, but I can't give you those rooms. Do you want one or two rooms?
Oh no. We're looking for somebody and maybe a room later, but first we're gonna check in with somebody here who's one of your guests. Did she tell me what room number she was?
No, she did not. She said she had morning errands to attend to, and that was all the last thing she told you.
I'll look back at Cookie and Ray. This is feeling a little intense. Maybe we do errands first, then we look for my sister.
All right, that's fair.
I'm not giving you any names of my clients.
You don't have to.
Okay.
The person I'm looking for's name, I definitely know.
Well, that's good. You could be lying.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you seen someone that looks strikingly similar to me?
I don't know. I'm very particular with my information.
Perception check. Has he seen someone? I think.
Do you want to make an insight check? Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check.
I will. I think he's 15.
15. He's definitely leading on a hard exterior, but he's also one of the individuals that probably anything comes with a price with him. Anything and everything comes with a price with him. So.
Okay.
He's not really alluding to knowing anybody, but he's also really trying to get some money out of you guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk up to him.
Is there like a lobby? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk up to him, slam my hand on the desk, be like, I don't like your attitude. You got a bad attitude about you. Tell me everything you know.
You do that, the tell me everything you know. He like gets startled for a second. Go ahead and roll an intimidation roll for me.
I'm gonna just kind of go like, ah! And you have inspiration.
Ah.
That's not great.
We're so inspiring today.
So inspiring.
A 6.
Let me double check. I think it's a D6.
Mm-hmm.
D6.
I'm rolling like, okay. 13 total.
13 total. He goes, is what I would say if I was scared of you. Anyway, you know, I understand you want things out of me, but guess what? I pride myself on the most confidential information that you can find around. So it's
That's
like
great, then.
You guys are up at like this like ticket booth kind of thing, and he's got like the window like cracked open, and he's kind of like looking through the window. It's not really like a true lobby area. Like you're still on the streets where there's people passing you.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it kind of feels like movie theater-ish, but there's like a door right next to this like ticket booth kind of thing that he's looking out of.
I think we should run errands.
All right, let's get out of here then.
He's like slowly closing it as he's staring at you guys.
I will say, she is apparently dating somebody, and so the whole thing is it's a little worrisome. But
Already?
it's a little worrisome. So I think maybe she did mention that she had some errands in town. Keep your eye out for somebody who has kind of like bluish silver hair. She's like maybe about this tall. And like similar skin to me, maybe a little bit more pale.
All right, keep an eye out.
Okay, that should be easy enough.
I think if we look, we should be able to spot her. Yeah.
Cool. All right, to town then, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Where would we find oats?
There has to be some sort of food or general store that would have such a thing.
Yeah, if you guys are walking around town, you guys would see like pretty much anything you could imagine are different types of like sidewalk booths. There's like different types of food vendors, different type of trinket vendors, even some for like odds and ends that would be like nuts and bolts, literally kind of vendors. So anything you're kind of looking for, you could, with enough time, could find something.
All right, yeah, we just keep an eye out for oats, and sugar, and all the ingredients I'd need for the best oatmeal.
Yeah, like with plenty of time and ease, without having to meet any other angry gnomes, you find your way through 1 silver worth of
are
ingredients.
there any other gnomes like in general, or just
There's you actually look around and take a second to kind of take in the individuals that are in this level, and it is diverse as diverse can get. All types of people. The only thing you don't see a whole lot of you don't see a lot of Warforged. You don't see any actually Warforged. Cookie stands out a lot. And you don't see any type of like Fey individuals. You don't see any type of you don't see like any true giants or even like Goliaths of any like larger size. There's very humanoid and consistency throughout the entire boat. After collecting your supplies, what would Evelyn and Aria be up to? Would they be trying to like maybe group back together or go on another adventure? What would you guys like?
I want to look at what these gloves are. Like, can we get some information about our little glove?
So
Let's
you
put some
guys
distance between us and the shop, just in case like someone sees these and like, oh, that looks like it belongs at Sharp corners.
Yes.
I wrote it down.
So
Yeah,
you see,
definitely.
you see a 5-bladed gauntlet that is a finesse weapon. It is 1d6,
Like,
1d6 plus 2, and the reason why it's a plus 2 is anything that is an attack roll of 3 or lower inflicts the damage to yourself. But it is
3 or
it is
lower?
a 3 or lower, yeah. But it is a plus 2 weapon. It's a plus 2 finesse weapon.
I am a finesse weapon user.
Did I say 1d6 or 2d6?
you said
I
fine.
have
Let me-
1d6.
Let me buff that a little bit. It's 2d6. That seems a little bit more fair. Because that's average, like 6 damage plus 2, 8. Yeah, that's reasonable for your level.
I am a blade girly, but not really like this. So if you wanted to give it a try,
Yeah, I would.
probably better on your hand than mine.
Yeah, I'd love to give this a try
It
because
is quite literally a one-handed weapon. So you can hold a shield in the other hand.
I'll give it to you.
yeah, I slip it on my hands and I guess am I natural at it or am I like that
Are you-
child where I'm like
Are you proficient in finesse weapons?
I believe so.
So then, or even half proficient.
Yeah, I mean rapiers are finesse weapons,
Yes,
so
yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of there's strings that are out the back that you pull tight, and it kind of tightens up like a corset around your hand. And with a little bit of practice, you can be pretty, talented with it.
All right,
Did you want to give it a go? I can fix my hair if you mess it up pretty easily, so it wouldn't be too bad. Just don't kill me with it.
Do I have to? I guess how would I give that a go?
It'd
Like
be a-
I don't want to roll.
It'd be a dexterity check.
Would it be a saving throw or just a straight deck?
Just a dex check.
All right.
Are you just doing this out in the middle of the street, or you're making your way into anywhere specific?
Shouldn't be in the street.
Yeah,
Maybe
can we
an
like walk
alley?
down like an alley?
Sure, yeah. You duck into an alley. and
Sketchy haircuts in the alleyway.
A cat just runs away from you guys as you approach.
Now, how did the cats get here? Did people bring the cats? Are the cats prisoners?
The world
I
may
need to know
never
these things.
You can speak
Are
with
there
animals?
dogs? No. Are there dogs on this boat?
You have not seen any dogs yet. No, there's just been children chasing cats. There was the cat inside of Sharp Corners.
Place is awful. I want to leave.
So I have the jack of all trades that I don't know if this applies. It says you can add half your proficiency bonus rounded down to any ability check that doesn't include it. So would that
Yeah.
apply here or no?
Yeah, it'll apply. It'll apply here.
Okay, my proficiency bonus. So it would just be a +1. Does having an 8 do it?
Close my eyes.
It doesn't. You don't hurt Evelyn necessarily. It just kind of looks a little bit rough around the edges and takes you some time. Not necessarily the neatest of cuts. Is your disguise physical, Evelyn, or is it
Oh,
illusionary?
I don't know. I don't think it's a.
I don't think it's illusionary either. So yeah, you would manipulate some of the hair and some flexes of discomfort from Evelyn kind of regrows back into the hair accidentally, and you just retrim it to like make it the same size again.
I need a little bit of practice. That's for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't hurt you though, right? Like we're
No,
we're-
I'm good. I'm good.
I'll work on this. You know, that kid, I understand his pain a little now. Like
Yeah,
it's not that easy.
After acquiring the goods, us 3 friends that are out shopping, is there any place else you guys would like to go, or are you trying to go anywhere particular?
Do I see Anhita anywhere?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Um, 7.
7. It's busy streets. I mean, you're kind of in the heart of the market district, and so if Anahita would be doing anything market related, she would definitely be here, and you can't quite see her in the area.
You know, I think that she's probably having a similar thought to me, that we need to like lay low and not draw too much attention, and so I can't see her at all.
That's probably what it is.
Do you think she'd be back by now?
I have no idea. She's like one of the least responsible people I've ever met. Honestly, I'm a little concerned. But there's not much we can do until we find her. So I think we just keep on doing what we're doing and hopefully we run into her.
Ray, as you're collecting your thoughts, you're kind of a little overwhelmed by the amount of the people in the area, and it's not quite your usual, like, your 9 to 5 that you had back home, where you're just kind of looking after a tavern and making sure everyone was up and up. It starts to kind of feel, claustrophobic around you, but that kind of very translates into a little bit of whispers that are approaching you again. Very, very soft whispers, not quite as loud as you felt before, but you can hear a little bit of like apparently approaching you.
Yeah, we should just, we should maybe go back to, what was his name? Barabbas was the name, right? Ray just kind of starts rubbing the back of their neck nervously.
We could go back to Barabbas's and prepare this oatmeal there and then bring it over to the tinker's shop.
Let's do that.
Are you okay?
Yes. Just trying to lay low. Too many people, too many eyes. We don't know what we could do. We don't know who we could trust.
You're a smart one, Ray. I think that's a good
really
idea.
Different. Yeah.
Ray just kind of
Okay.
hastily avoids them and just like walks towards where they came from for Barabbas's place.
Being on this type of a high alert from Ray, I'd like everyone to make a perception check for me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I do it.
I'm gonna use, if I still have it, the inspiration from Aria.
Okay.
Oh. That 15.
What did everyone
11.
say?
The
11.
roll from Aria was good. The other one wasn't.
I did get a nat 20, but I roll at disadvantage.
Oh no!
Yeah, 16.
16, still pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
better than me. And
Starting with
I'm distracted. I don't know where.
starting with Cookie, because Cookie's the lowest. You get a sense of like, vibes among your group already, Cookie, and you can sense that Ray's kind of having a little bit of discomfort, and so you start looking around, and you see there's a definite shift in traffic. There's kind of almost like a little bit more of a higher flow of people heading your direction from where you guys were traveling back to Barabbas's shop. Looking around, you scan, and you do see that you are near the makeshift, or not the makeshift, the Tease Emporium or whatever I call it earlier. I forgot.
Mhm.
You are
Tease.
near
Yeah,
that.
Tease Cove.
Tease Cove, thank you. Tease Cove. And you do notice that you're near there, but you're kind of getting a little bit of pushback from the individuals that are coming your way. Ray, you are looking a little bit farther, a little bit ahead of Cookie, because you have that heightened sense of fear, and you are heading towards the crowd that's coming your way. And you see just beyond the crowd some tips of some really tall tabaxi ears that are making their way with a bunch, like 2 or 3 guards behind them, heading your guys' direction. Kind of like looking around like boxes and containers. You would know this is probably Captain Novu from the top of his head. And Galene, what you see is you also kind of clocked out a little bit of the traffic flow, but if you look off to the side, you see Anahita in the back corner of the alleyway next to Tease Cove, and is talking with an individual down that alleyway and dips into Tease Cove.
I'm gonna follow. I want to get away from Captain Nobu, but so I'm just gonna like grab Ray and try to follow my sister.
Yeah, Ray's gonna absolutely comply. Just be
Like
"Do you
try to
see
go
that?"
really like
Okay.
really quickly
So you head
out
that
of
way.
his sight.
Cookie, you
And
kind
duck
of
in.
get the vibe of what's going on a little bit. You follow them?
Sure, yeah. I'll follow along.
Okay. Yeah, you guys make your way down this alleyway, and you just are met with a closed door down the end of the alleyway.
Is it locked?
Yeah, you check it, and it's locked. But you
Can
try
I
to
knock?
Yeah. You knock pretty loudly, and There's no immediate response, and you can hear like some shuffling of paperwork or papers or things like that from the other side of the door, and then you hear an individual from the other side of the door go, "Hello?"
Hi. Can we come in?
The entrance is out front.
Oh, I just saw my sister. And
You hear some like voices like communicating on the other side. Go ahead and make another perception check for me. See if you can't gauge of what they're talking about.
18.
18. You hear some like, oh shit, man. Okay, we'll move this. Okay, yeah, okay. And then you hear the individual come back, like step back up towards the door, and they're like, I really can't let you in back here. If you can come up to the front, that would be good. I can explain everything.
Ray turns around and just be like, okay, look, I got this. We're just going to wait for Captain Novu to just pass us by. And cast a silent image of like this like tent in the alleyway that kind of covers us.
Okay. You have now
Okay.
a tent that is popped up in the middle of this alleyway.
Okay. I just wonder if we should try to... No, I have to see them. Okay.
How close is Captain Novu?
You hear some ruckus from down the way, and there's some individuals that are pretty swiftly moving down the walkway you guys just came from. But you can't really tell. The whispers have kind of slowed and stopped at this point, and you hear rummaging and movement, but you don't necessarily know if that's Captain Novu or not.
I think we should give it a while.
Yes, I think we should give it a while too. I feel like a trapped mouse here, but
Are you guys gonna actually just like crouch and stay behind the tent for the time being?
yes.
Should we try to convince them to let us in? I mean, we kind of already. I mean,
we can break the lock if we have to. But...
I don't know if that's maybe the best move, but I also really don't want to get caught.
Should I try to kick down the door?
No, let's not do that.
I could definitely help with that, but I'm not good at finessing people into opening doors.
If we could see them, we could probably get them to open the door. Maybe we just crouch here? I don't know.
All right, everybody make a stealth check.
17.
I will. Okay.
6.
3.
Yeah,
we should open the door. I'm just gonna elbow, right? We need to open the door. I'm gonna just like be like, we need you to open the door.
Yeah, so a big rush of people just like finally run by towards the end of the hall as you guys are like trying to kind of stay quiet and trying to, Cookie's like trying to adjust some of his armor to kind of like sit correctly underneath this because you can only make a 5-foot image with image. So he's like trying to duck into this like image of a tent, and he's kind of poking out a little bit. You hear like one individual from down the alleyway like, oh, sleeping in the alley, that's smart. And then like they keep on going.
Okay.
And and you hear from the other side of the door, Galene, all right, you guys are fine for now. I heard there's some guard activity up front. It's fine. I'll let you in. And the door opens, and you see a familiar face. You see Silas, the guard that had been working with Urang and you guys. And he was like, "Oh, it's you guys. Come in here. What the heck?" And never.
And then we get it.
He didn't know that your sister was Anahita, or never introduced himself.
Did he not recognize the fact we look basically identical?
He couldn't. Well, I don't know. We'll see. So you guys head in there, and it looks to be almost like a makeshift workshop. You guys come in, and there's like a couple tables set up to the side with some paperwork. It looks to be a torn up map it looks very similar to the map that you guys saw down in the officer's chamber, but it looks like when they had picked it up, it kind of damaged it pretty heavily, and they're like kind of putting it together like a puzzle piece. And over in the corner, you see Let me get their names. You see Ingo and Antiope in the corner. Ingo's the tabaxi.
The two that ran ahead.
Mhm.
The two that ran ahead.
Correct. And Antiope is the elven woman in the white dress. They're sitting there around the table, looking up, kind of like surprised at you guys. You do not see Anahita in the room at all.
I don't.
No.
Okay.
But you guys rush in and they close the door behind you. And the three of them turn to you and they're like, well, you guys found your way here faster than I assumed. Did Urang or Kinley tell you guys about this or anything, or?
No.
No.
To be completely blunt, I was following my sister.
Your sister, the...
Anahita?
Okay. I see it now a little bit, you know? I'm not the best at this,
we
okay?
have like slightly different hairstyles. Like she prefers, well, we go a different direction.
Well,
Anyway,
I have some suspicions why someone from this level would be working with us. But well, that'll be a conversation for another time. I'm kind of putting things together on why we're all here. This is kind of the headquarters of the problem-solving committee, you might say, and we're just kind of trying to piece things together. If you guys have any clues that might help us.
I want to look at Ray and Cookie really quick and be like, before we say anything, right? Does Urang know you're here?
Yeah, he does. He with the correspondence, he cares more about the Red Foam Riders than we do. We're kind of like a little sect of the unknown. We kind of are really just trying to get down to the business of why. We don't understand why this is all happening. And Antiope stands up from the corner of the room and she's like, some of us have a past with Empire ties, some of us have a past with the Rebellion ties, and we feel like this might play a little bit into some of those connections we might have off-boat. And it's worth our time to invest and kind of learn a little bit more about what's going on here, especially if we're going to get out soon.
Well, what have you figured out? Is it safe for us to let people know we come from down below up here?
That hasn't seemed to be a problem. This is Silas. This hasn't seemed to be a problem for us. It seems that the people here in this section are under some kind of influence that feels a little bit off of what people with free will would have. I think this is a different type of manipulation style they have up here on these individuals. They almost seem to not care about a lot of outer worldly things or things that are happening. They just kind of want to work, they kind of want to drink, and they kind of want to sleep. And that's kind of seems to be the vibe of these individuals.
I see. So we come from one prison and into another here.
I mean, I still feel normal. I don't feel like I've got to work 24/7, which is nice for us. But I think individuals who kind of are in the know might catch us because of that. So I'm trying to keep it on the down low from the officials, obviously. But the other people who I've talked to, I've told them, and they don't seem to mind at all. They think, I actually talked to an individual the other day, and they think that down there is just as much of a decision as it is up here. They almost applauded me for doing the hard work down there.
Oh, I don't like this one, but...
Hearing this, does that make more sense with how odd my interaction with Anahita felt yesterday?
Maybe not necessarily Anahita right away. Go ahead and make an intelligence check for me, just to kind of like read back on the whole situation and the interaction between you two.
I rolled a 3 plus 1.
Yeah, you know your sister pretty well, and you get the gauge that like seems pretty normal. Seems like they're not mentioned. Looking back on it though a little bit, the only person who seems to be different from when you first met them to now would probably be Barabbas. Barabbas is the only one that seemed to be acting maybe a little bit too satisfied with being there.
Yeah, and he was the one that was captured. Ray, Barabbas, did you happen to see Barabbas try to walk through the door and, like, get electrocuted and almost die?
Yeah, I did.
Well, instead of, letting him die, they brought him here, and now he fits that description.
It does make a little sense for them to just let him live up here when he was down there. What is... Ray's starting to look like even more just like kind of at unease.
Oh, Ray, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Silent, you guys should maybe know Captain Novu and a bunch of the guards just like walked past.
Oh my god, wow, they...
That's why we needed to get in.
Gotcha, okay, that's making a little bit of sense. Man, they're really afraid then. And, Ingo stands up and goes, I have a suspicion that they no longer need the individuals down in the prison, and they're really pursuing us now. And that just kind of confirms my suspicion that they're moving on to their next part of their plan. So, I think we have little time left to react up here.
What plan?
Well, the officers seem to be working out of sync from everyone else who seems to be working here. The guards don't seem to be in the know. The prisoners don't seem to be in the know. And I think the masterminds of this build are all the officers involved. They want people here, and they're observing people here for a reason. I'm not exactly sure why, but we do know that they have some kind of timeline. Otherwise, they wouldn't have reacted with such strict rules the first sign of someone trying to break out.
So, just to keep you updated there, Cyrus, we sent Urang to go meet up with Cyprus?
Cyprus, Bella's brother.
Bella's brother.
Okay.
What are his connections with Red Foam Riders? Does he have some connection with them?
Cyprus, not as much. He doesn't have the connections with Red Foam Riders, but he has the connections within the guild here on this floor. The guild kind of oversees all of the movement of supplies between different businesses to kind of give businesses a purpose to be here and to ensure that everyone's working. You know, it almost feels like Cyprus has a little bit of understanding of what's going on, but also still reverts back to a sense of working personality every night that we've met him.
So this guild seems to have a lot of influence on this level.
I don't know if they're really in charge of things. They just try to ensure that the things are happening here. We understand that it's an individual or at least a representative from every type of market.
Now, do you know the officers on the boat?
Not beyond just meeting them, not beyond just having skirmishes or run-ins or seeing them interact with one another.
So you don't know any names, or?
He like looks over to like it looks to be like a cork board that has like a couple different like drawings, like crude drawings, and
Can I look at them?
yeah, Ingo sees you look at them and he goes, "I'm not an artist. Please don't judge." Yeah, you walk up and you see very obviously the best looking drawing is of Captain Novu, just because probably familiar with Tabaxis. And right next to, or right underneath and to the side of Captain Novu, you see a humanish figure that kind of looks like Farwain, but a little bit like larger nose and bigger ears, maybe out of spite, not exactly sure. And underneath that, you see some like other human, like I said, there's a female presenting individual and a half-orc individual that is wearing both like the high, like it looks like to be the same type of armor that a lot of the guards were wearing underneath Farwain. And then off to the other side of Captain Novu, you see what looks to be like there's like no hair and no ears. It almost looks like that just weren't drawn, and the face looks to be like a gaunt human man that has like black eyes with like red slits down the eye, and then like no torso, no nothing. It looks like just the face like floating there on the page. And then there's like two pieces of paper underneath it that are just like question marks.
Oh, so
and then there's just
names.
names. There's just names on the two question marks. One of the name is John, and it's a question mark after John, and then the other one is they didn't have a name for it at the moment. They just put a question mark.
Okay.
So it almost looks like to be like a structure tree that they're trying to make, and they have notes off to the side about the individuals.
Have you seen John?
No, like he sees you pointing to it.
So if I drew a picture, you couldn't confirm if it was the same person.
No, we have a letter. We have a letter from John, and that's about it. But we know
Can
that
I
John
see
is
it?
the head of. Yeah. And he like ruffles through it a little bit. Let me reach out to Mark. Mark is the one that wrote this letter, so I'll have Mark
Okay.
send me the letter to you guys.
Okay.
And he's like, it's some communications between one of the other captains, and they're just kind of talking about military actions and military training schedules for a different level of the ship. And so we do know that this John individual is some type of officer, maybe over the military personnel on the higher level. Not exactly sure. We do know that the level right above us is the military district.
Okay.
No. Well, do we have any idea how they cast this strange spell on people?
Silas kind of steps up and he's like, well, we think they just, from trying to get people's stories of when they remember coming to the boat, they all mention the feeling of like a pulling sensation on their chest before they got onto the boat. But other than that, they said they just keep saying they got something taken from them. I don't really understand what that means, but they just kind of get on the boat afterwards and assume their positions and their jobs that they want to have. That's as far as we know from the spell. And he like turns to you, Galene. He's like, I was just talking to Anahita. She's not like the rest of them. She doesn't have like the sense of work. She's like trying to make connections and talk to individuals that work on the boat that actually like work for the boat and not for their own business. She's in with them a little bit. She's like persuaded some of them to let her be a liaison for to communication between this district and the guard district. So that's what she's been working on recently. Yeah.
I wish I remembered more clearly our conversation. I want to turn to my friends Cookie and Ray. I don't think she's under the spell. I didn't get that sense.
That's good to hear, and it's also good to hear that she has some connection with the guards, because then perhaps she has some vital information that we're missing.
Well, she did follow me on. I got captured, and she followed me on the boat, and so she wasn't super clear of whether she was captured or if she snuck on. I don't know.
Is she at least also trying to get off this boat?
Well, I can't imagine why anybody would choose to live on a boat when you could be near a boat or off a boat. So I assume so.
I'm in agreement. This feels like something that we should tell the rest of the group.
That's a good point. Are you guys, like, you're stationed here, but do you stay here? Have you talked to Urang since coming here?
We've met up with him a couple times. We're trying to stay in different areas of the district just to get ears out in more places. So we're kind of spread all over. We don't actually sleep in this shop. And you can hear like, you hear like conversation happening on the other side of the wall, like they're greeting somebody into the shop and presenting wares.
But then why wouldn't Urang have told us this morning?
I can't tell you. Urang works in his specific fashion. I don't know why he would withhold any information from you. You guys seem to be working with us.
Yeah, I thought we were working with you as well.
I think you guys are working, but he's just a little bit paranoid. He's a little bit too intelligent for his own good.
Do I believe this?
You can make an insight check.
Do you... I don't know if I do. 14.
14. He's not necessarily trying to hide anything from you. I think he kind of presents himself as a little bit more confused than actually trying to withhold information from you. He's like, we kind of work with ourselves in this little side division just because we trust Urang to work with the Red Foam Riders and get that done. You guys hear like a large like big crash come from outside, and Ingo and Antio kind of look at each other real quick and we're like, that might be the shipment, or that might be someone trying to stop our shipment again, so we're gonna go. And they like bolt out of the door, and Silas kind of like looks at you guys and goes, Are you guys fine here for a second? I might need to go back
Yeah.
them up. And you see.
Yeah. Do you need help?
Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to help, maybe just make sure everything in here is kind of like nailed down. So when we run in and out with all the boxes to try to prevent people from seeing what we have going on, nothing like flies out or flies around or anything like that. And he like dips out of the room. As he dips out of the room, it becomes like eerily quiet in the area around you guys.
Can I peep out into the front of the store?
The front of the store or like the side door that they went out of?
Like the front of the store.
The front of the store? Yeah, there's like this little like crawl space shelf that's like built into the wall that you look like you can push and like move off to the side to like see into the store. Looking into the store, there are no individuals in the store.
Not even the shopkeeper.
Yep, even the shopkeeper, and nobody seems to be inside the store.
Okay, and I see anything outside of the store?
Yeah, if you go around and look around to the outside of the alleyway and look down the alleyway, you don't see anybody down the alleyway, and you don't see anybody crossing on the streets.
That's weird.
What's weird?
There's nobody outside.
Evelyn and Aria, where did you guys find yourself after shopping for a little bit, or like acquiring the hand and walking down the street?
You've probably put a few blocks between us and the shop, and then looked for an alley.
You're in an alley. You guys are like crouched in an alleyway, like examining this glove, and you guys hear a and then like real quiet. Like it seems to be like a semi like controlled explosion of some sort, and then like silence afterwards.
This again?
Yeah, like does it feel like a familiar silence that we've experienced before, or
Like everyone disappearing and us
silence.
having to fight Titan things?
It's
silence?
most definitely silence.
I think I'm just gonna look at Evelyn and be like, this feels wrong or strange in some way.
Yeah, she'll draw her parasol.
Okay.
Get ready for a fight.
What do you guys do? You stay in the alleyway?
Should we try to find where the others went? We don't really have a good idea where they're at though, so I guess
should we take a peek out in the street?
I think that
See what
sounds
we're
like a good
dealing with?
idea. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys approach the street and like peek out a little bit, and looking down the alleyway, you can see like there is nobody attending any of the shops that are on these alleyways. And yeah, go ahead, both of you make a perception check for me.
Not good at these.
Haha.
Ooh. I got a 23.
23. You do.
You see it for us.
Aria, you very noticeably see what seems to be a little bit of like sunlight coming from one of the areas like farther down away from you, and it looks to be like almost shrapnel pieces of metal twisted that are just in the air, suspended, not moving.
I relay that to Evelyn.
Like it's not on a wall, it's just in the air. Like
It
someone
looks like it was in the process of being dropped, and it has just stopped.
I guess time is suspended or something's not right. Do you think we should go toward the light?
With the check that you made, Aria, you do hear like scuffling and a little bit of like mumbled discussion from maybe about a block and a half down from you guys, down the street. And also with that perception check, you do see like all of the things that are on the carts and stuff like that are just out in the open, unattended to. And you notice that this kind of like strikes you by surprise. So anyone who would have ran and hid or anything like that couldn't have happened, because like it almost looks like all the items and stuff that were around are still there as well. You do see T's Cove, probably about 2 or 3 buildings down from where you're at, and beyond that you hear the scuffling. Like a couple blocks beyond that, you hear the scuffling and discussion.
Are there things like in the air, like someone was holding it and then that
Not quite. No.
disappeared?
No.
Okay.
It almost seems like just there's like food and stuff still on carts, and wrenches and stuff still on seats.
I heard something a few streets down. I don't know, but if it's anything like last time, that might be our friends. Do you want to try to make our way that way?
I like that better than walking towards the light.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Can we start? I want to do it quickly, but also stealthily.
Okay. Well, we can do that very easily. Right here. All right. So we rejoin back with Aria and Evelyn heading down this alleyway. You guys can hear from the side of the alleyway that you guys are at, Cookie especially, some individuals heading your direction, like quiet footsteps walking your way.
I'll creep out of the alley and look into the main street.
Yeah, you can pretty obviously see two of your friends heading your direction from down the way.
Obviously, we were being stealthy.
Let's
Super
give them like a little
sneaky.
wave.
Oh, thank God! It's just our friends.
Go ahead, anyone who's out in the street, make one final perception check before you meet up together.
God.
Okay.
Ray, do you think we would? Are we following?
I got a 17 this time.
Should we go?
I think
10.
we're definitely following.
10.
Okay. I'm gonna follow Cookie with Ray.
You said a 17 was the highest one?
Mhm.
Okay, Aria, you look down to your right and you see amongst the vegetable stands some individuals who look very angry and familiar to you guys. It looks to be the yellow armor-clad figure, a red-coated, blood-coated mage, a green nature whip master, and what appears to be a frozen-style archer going, just rummaging through some items and kind of stopping among the four of them, waiting for a second, and then heading down the alleyway that they were just walking towards. Kind of towards your guys' direction a little bit. Just not seeming to notice any of you guys, but are kind of focused, like they close their eyes and they think for a second, and then they like seemingly like walk directly in the direction that you guys are at over and over again. It takes them a couple times, and as they head your way, what would you guys like to do?
We either need to run or like prepare ourselves.
I'm gonna yell at them.
No, I'm gonna tap your shoulder first, and I'm gonna say, give you some bardic inspiration.
I want to say.
What is
Does
what
Does
is-
everybody see them, or was it just me, or like?
Yeah, did everybody see them, or just?
Anyone who rolled higher than a 10 saw them. A 10 or higher. Was anybody else lower than a 10?
Wait, was I supposed to roll?
Yes, yeah.
I think Ray and
Sorry.
I were just walking outside. I guess
we
if-
were
if
just
I
walking
roll.
outside.
Oh my gosh, I got a 26.
I'm a 12. Wow.
Okay, so
I literally got a 19 plus 7. Oh no, I did performance instead of perception. Never mind. 19 plus 4, 23.
That's still pretty
That's
good.
still good. That's still good. 23.
19 alone did it.
23.
Alright. Is your shout, Cookie, in any way like a spell or harming or anything like that?
No, it's just some
Wait, but shouldn't we?
crap talking to them.
All right, so what
I
do you yell out to
wasted a
them?
good roll.
Come back for round 2. Ready to get your asses kicked again?
Ready for another ass
Cookie
kicking?
says, no sneak attack round? Sure. Jaded remark at them? Heck yeah. You see all four of them like look up at you guys like, oh, and they immediately shout back, well, this is the yellow one steps forward. Well, not necessarily round 2 unless you want to talk this out this time.
Let's talk things out.
Do you see the archer individual like knock an arrow and kind of like get ready in your direction? All right, then talk. And they all seem to be like
Arrow
huddled in a
down.
formation this time. I can't control her. If you can convince her to do it, then yeah. But last time you guys just wiped the floor with us, so we're just taking extra precautions. They seem to be
Alright.
always scanning. Like, they see you guys there, but they're always, like, they're scanning around for something. They're confused.
What are you looking for?
None of your business.
How are you here? Speaking of the first time we saw you, you didn't seem to be in good shape.
They all, like, unlike the last time you guys met them, they all look a little bit more lively. The red one specifically is not injured approaching you guys, like they were they were last time. The yellow guard individual like points back at the red one and is like, it was their turn. That's how we're here.
Else. Why is it just us?
I don't know. I mean, we can make this simple or we can make this hard. We need what's something that you've got.
I'm kind of emotionally attached to everything I have.
Well,
There's no way you're taking anything off of me.
is there anything that you guys would want in return? They,
Well,
like,
maybe.
You see
What are you offer?
You see the nature one whisper like, "Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, that's great. It's okay, good."
Yeah, maybe. I like things. What type of things can you offer?
I mean, we actually know how to get around, whereas you guys have been apparently trapped on this boat for long enough. We could get whatever you need off the boat.
What about
Like
us off the boat?
What about us off the boat?
I'll be honest. I think you guys are a little bit smart enough to realize that we might not be your only way out. And he like gestures back to this like gaping hole that's through the side of the boat hull on the wall back behind them. He's like, I don't appreciate trying to be tricked. What do you want in exchange for your gems?
You want
First
So it's
off-
our gyms that you want still.
They're not for sale.
What are they?
It could be for trade.
They're not for trade.
They are a capstone that the elementals prefer to use. We don't need them, but they are the capstone to our blood rights that allow us to use the elements a little bit more in our favor.
What are these
But I-
blood rights you're talking about?
Man, you should probably brush up on your history a little bit, huh? Blood
I'm not
rights
from
are
around here.
blood rights are just passed down between champion and champion that just allow other champions to use the resource that they were the best at. And we just want to be best at it, so the Titans will choose us.
We
Do
can't
I
let you have
see
these.
the big hole now? I rolled a 23 perception.
You see enough
So do I see
shrapnel
it?
and stuff that like it's the shrapnel is still like kind of in front of the big hole, like it's a almost like mid explosion that had stopped and that is like in front of this hole. That's like down
I
the
smack
alleyway.
Ray. I point out the hole.
Oh, we should go.
We should just go.
We should just.
It
go.
looks to
We
be
should
like
just leave.
mid-fire, mid-metal shrapnel, like twisted out of this hole. So there's not really like an obvious gap that you might be able to squeeze through. It looks like to be in the middle of a detonation.
So we'd need the time to start again.
Almost. Maybe. We don't know. They like the,
Are you the ones who stopped the time here?
that's part of the travel. I don't actually do it myself. I'm not really the best at magic stuff, but part of traveling through elements allow us to set ourselves up for whatever is going to be ahead.
Why aren't we affected?
I mean, I think you guys can maybe put two and two together that you guys might be a little bit attached to the things that we want.
Oh.
So really, you're just afraid of us stealing your jobs.
They'll look at each other like, oh, well. All right, well, listen up here. We've been working at this our whole life, and you guys just stumble upon the thing that we want most. That just seems unfair.
I've
I
been
didn't
around a
stumble
long
upon
time.
this. It was gifted to me.
I don't believe you for a second.
Ah!
It sure
It
seems
really
like we were
was.
born with something special too.
Now, I'm giving you guys too much. Are you gonna trade it to us or not?
No.
You've offered nothing.
We've offered to just try to secure anything you have, and you see the blue archer individual kind of like inch over towards one of the alleyways off to the side, kind of like looking down the alleyway.
You
We-
afraid of something?
look at us. We're so prepared. Why would we be afraid of anything? And the green one leans forward, like, yeah. Okay, yeah. What was the last thing you said?
You look antsy. You look like you're not just worried about us.
I mean, I'm not going to pretend. I mean, we don't ever know what situation we're going to fall upon whenever we travel. And it seems to be we're, in a situation we're not familiar with yet. That's all we're trying to do.
How long do you plan to stay this time before you travel back?
Until we've acquired what we need or until we're shunted back.
Well, I suppose we better get to shunting then.
Those are fighting words. Either make an intimidation check or you get one surprise round. Your choice.
Let's see what my intimidation modifier is. +3, let's go for it.
I'm like ready to run towards the hole.
Can I just use my inspiration?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
And Galene, with your high enough perception, you would know that there's pretty much no way to get through that hole yet. The hole is
17?
The hole is very shrapnel, sharded, and crazy. You said 17?
Yeah.
You see the individual kind of look at his friends, kind of look back at you guys and go, "You might want to scoot back a little bit. This one's kind of fiery." And they step back a little bit away from each other, trying to get some space. All right, listen. I don't really know where there's a middle ground. We're kind of forced to do this anyway. We don't really want to do this, but this is the only way we know how to get back and not be shamed in our town, okay? So, we would like the gym, and we would like to work with you, please. But if you won't work with us and you can't think of anything you guys need, then we're gonna have to force our way through.
You're not getting these gems.
Evelyn will ready her parasol for battle.
Go ahead and drop what each of these bad boys look like, just so you guys can see. Oh, that didn't work. What if this will work? There we go, that'll work. You ready your parasol? You're gonna cast some spells. If anyone's gonna get a surprise round, it'll be you. And the distance markers on the map, the amount of distance that this map is correct compared to the last map, which was doubled in distance.
Missing them?
What?
I only see the 3.
Yep, you only see the 3. The bowmen took their time to sneak away, and they rolled pretty high.
Wow, they rolled higher than 23.
Well, 23 was an environmental check. I don't think you were checking out the warriors. I was going against your guys' passive perception for that sneak.
And are we allowed to start blasting?
I was asking Evelyn if they were deciding to use a spell or not. Yeah, are you gonna use
I was waiting to see if anyone else was gonna do anything before I started blasting.
I'll leave it at this. This is the last decision. You either choose to use a sneak attack round or diffuse, because they're all looking to you, Evelyn, since you were the last one to really blast them away.
I mean, they can't have these gems, so I guess we're gonna start blasting.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and cast whatever spell you'd like to first, and then we'll roll initiative, and then take a break.
Fuck it. We'll do a Chaos Bolt.
Chaos Bolt at yellow.
Yeah, there's a 24 hit.
24 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Nice.
Dang.
Starting us off with a bang.
Or, choose damage type. Let's go Thunder. For 14 thunder damage.
14 thunder as this Chaos Bolt swirls out of Evelyn's hand and strikes this yellow individual. It kind of swirls around the individual and kind of comes down out of the helmet and doesn't really seem to be doing as much damage as you would like to this yellow armored individual. And kind of stumbles back and goes, All right, here we go. Here we go, everyone, and kind of starts charging your way. Everyone roll initiative for me, and let me know what numbers you guys got. You said it was 14?
18.
12.
Okay, so let's start one at a time. Let's do Aria.
15.
Evelyn.
18.
Galene.
16. I put mine in the chat.
Thank you. Cookie.
19.
And Ray.
12.
12.
We
All
did
right.
pretty good.
With that, the first strike has been struck by Evelyn onto the yellow guardian, and we will go ahead and end this section of the episode here. I will see you guys all back after this break. Bye.